Hello ladies, in this video we're going to be multiplying matrices by hand, so make sure you know how to do it. I know I've covered it before in a video, but I thought I would just use a little bit of colour and hopefully that'll make it a little bit clearer as to what gets multiplied with what. So we've got here two matrices multiplying each other. Now you can't always just assume every matrix can be multiplied by another matrix. There are a certain set of conditions that have to be met, and it all has to do with the order of the matrix. So if we look at the order, and I'm going to write that in pink, the order of this first matrix is 3 by 2. So that just means it's a 3-row and 2-column matrix. This second matrix is a 2 by 2. Okay, so 2 rows, 2 columns. So in pink, all I've done is the order. Okay, so it's important that you know how to find the order of a matrix. Now, to determine whether you can actually multiply them together, you've got to, and I always just circle them, put them together and circle these two middle numbers. Now, if they're the same, you can multiply them, but if they're not, then you can't multiply them. So basically, the first matrix has to have the same number of columns, so in this case 2, as the number of rows in the second matrix, which is 2. Okay, so that's why we write it like that. It's a little bit easier to see. Now, it is important that you put them in order. I'm using the word order a lot, but you can multiply these matrices as they're written. But if you did this second matrix first and then multiplied it by this one second, you actually wouldn't be able to do it. So the multiplication order is extremely important. Now your product matrix, okay, so product just meaning what you get when you multiply things. So sorry, the order of your product matrix is given by the two numbers on the outside. So this one's going to be a 3 by 2. So you can see this first matrix, it's going to look similar to that because that's a 3 by 2 as well. Okay, it's just coincidental. It's not always going to be the same. Now, to make things easier, I have drawn in color or used color to help show you how you do your multiplication. Okay, so this first matrix here is going to be multiplied by this second matrix, and I'm going to put in a multiplication sign. Now, as I said before, the order of your product here is 3 by 2. So what I've gone and done is I've drawn what that matrix is going to look like. So we're going to be filling in things here. Okay, so effectively, we're going to end up with 6 numbers. But the hard part is actually figuring out how to get those numbers. All right, so I'm going to make this a little bit smaller just so we can see it a bit better. All right, so the first step, so in this, maybe just underline it in pink, in this cell here, okay, this first section, we're going to be doing this top row times this first column. So first row times first column goes in this first cell. Okay, so first row times first column. Now, think of it as these numbers, the 2 and the 5, run across and then dive down and multiply themselves with these two numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So see how they line up? So the 2 and the 5 stay in that order. So what I'm going to have here is, and I'm going to write it in blue, so it's the numbers in their respective colors. So 2 I'm going to keep as blue, and then we multiply that by the yellow number next to it. Actually, I'm going to do orange because I think it looks more like an orange than a... So in this spot, we're going to do 2 times -3. So we've done the first lot, and then we keep going until we've done the other multiplication. So we just add then. So we've done the 2 pairs. Think of it like a dance. So number 2 is dancing with number -3, and now 5 is dancing with 4. Okay, so I'm going to do multiplication. bit slow. Okay. So the 2 multiplies by the -3, they're a pair, plus the 5 times the 4. Now, if we had more numbers here, you'd actually keep going, but we're just going to keep it a little bit simpler. All right, I'm not going to write that just yet. Let's go ahead and do the rest. All right, so we've done this first element, okay, or number. So remember, we call these individual numbers all elements. So that's to work out that first element. Before I used the analogy that they were dancing with each other. So let's say the number 2 and the number 5 dance with -3 and 4, and they weren't too keen. So then they thought they'll try the next column. Okay, so they're going to go and try the 3 and the 1, dance with them, see if they like their moves. All right, so I haven't really done that too well with the blue numbers on top of the yellow numbers, but you can kind of get the gist that 2 is now dancing with number 3 and 5 is now dancing with number 1. So let's write that in the element here. So we're still on the first row, but this time we're in the second column. So I'm going to get the blue number up. So this time number 2 is dancing. So multiply is dancing with the grey number 3. All right, so they're a pair, and then we add in 5 and its partner number 1. I didn't like using the colour grey, but there weren't too many colours to choose from. Okay, so 2 and the 5, okay, in the first row, multiplied for the first column. That's what happened here. Then the first row multiplied by the second column, and that's what goes here. And basically, we repeat that process until we've finished multiplying all rows by all columns. Okay, so I'm going to continue to do that. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the second row. So if you like the analogy of the running and the diving, so this second row, whoops, I don't really like this thick pen, but this second row is now going to multiply with the first column, and then you'll do the second row by the second column, just like we did here. So same thing, we're just doing it now with the, let's call them red, kind of, it's like a burnt orange, but let's call it red for the sake of this video. Okay, so the 1 and the 2 go down and multiply the -3 and the 4. All right, so you can see they're next to each other. I'm going to see if I can find a red, okay, oh, crimson. All right, so the 1 is now dancing with the -3, so it's 1 times -3. And let me just get the color up. And then the number 2. Oh no, yeah, number 2, sorry. Just had a bit of a blank. Trying to switch through all these colors is multiplied by the 4. Okay, so you can kind of see the -3s will follow all the way down. And in your rows, so you can see here the blues, and here we'll have the crimson. All right, so I'm going to do this next cell, okay? All right, so you can see I've just gone through and multiplied the 1 times 3. So now you could say the pair 1 and 2 now want to switch dance partners and go to this second column. So 1 times 3 plus 2 times 1. And then our last one is this third row is going to go across and multiply through the yellow or the orange, whatever you want to call it, and then the grey. So I'm just going to fill them in. All right, so there's the last row done for you. I won't go through and move those numbers, but you can kind of see the -3s flowing down there in orange and the 4s flowing down, the 3s and the 1s, and then because that's what you have in your columns, and then your rows. Okay, so hopefully the colors help you. Now we haven't finished just yet, even though it looks very pretty in all its color. We do have to go and do those calculations. So your final matrix as we know, is going to be a 3 by 2. So let's just work out what's going to go in each element. So in the first spot, we've got 2 times -3, which is -6, if you want to write that there. And then 5 times 4, which is 20. So -6 plus 20 gives you 14. 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 1 is 5. So in this spot here, we're going to have 11. 1 times -3 is -3. 2 times 4 is 8. So we're going to have -3 plus 8. So we've got 5 here. This one here, this element here, 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. So 3 plus 2 is 5 also. And then we've got -3 times -3 is +9. Just be careful with your positives. 4 times 4 is 16. So 9 plus 16 is 25. And then -3 times 3 is -9. And 4 times 1 is 4. So we're going to have here -5. So you can see we've got our 3 by 2 matrix, product matrix. And that is how you multiply. And I might just put in an equal sign here. All right. Bye, girls. Actually, sorry, before I go, stop the video and then I started again. It's a good idea to always check your answer on your calculator. So I know you probably know how to do matrices on your calculator, but it's a good idea just to check. So let me just get this calculator better on the screen. Okay, so our matrix, our first matrix is a 3 by 2. So let's put that in. And I need to go back to see what the numbers are. So 2, 5, 1, 2, -3, 4. Oh, I've already forgotten. 2, 5, 1, 2. Sorry. 2, 5, 1, 2. And then I think it was -3, 4, but I was going to check. -3, 4. -3, 4. Now we're multiplying, so you can just press the multiply sign. We're multiplying by 2 by 2, so good thing is it's already there for us. And it's a -3, 3, 4, 1. -3, 3, 4, 1. Okay, and press enter and hope that it is the same as what you had. So let's just scroll and see. Oops. I just love that. Okay, it's not cooperating. Let's just move this a bit. And there it is. So 14, 11, 5, 5, 25, -5. Just in case you didn't believe me. No, just kidding. It's always good to check your answer on the CADs. All right, bye girls.